Hello everybody and welcome. My name's Ketchup, joined by Mustard. As always, I'd like to introduce you to our latest episode of Final Round, the show for Mortal Kombat 11 that goes alongside the Open Series. And if you've seen these episodes before, you'll already know that we are jam-packed full of good content today. We'll interview Biohazard, who has been making waves in the Open Series quite recently with this very entertaining character choice and just all-around high-octane gameplay. We're excited. Hope you are as well. Let's get stuck in. We're joined right now by the one and only Biohazard. How's it going, man?
It's going quite well. How are you guys?
All good. Couldn't be happier. I think it's been a long time coming since we got you on the show, and it's a pleasure to finally see you in the Open Series. That's the big thing for us is if you watch competitive Mortal Kombat 11, you probably know who Biohazard is. But if you watched only the Open Series, he might appear as quite the newcomer. And Bio, I really want to chat about your recent weeks and your introduction to the Open Series as an already seasoned top-level competitor. How has your Open Series experience been?
It's been generally positive, I think. You have those Monday qualifiers, and I like the way that PlayStation kind of easily sets it up. You have enough time. You have like half an hour before each match, and you just play your match, and it's like recorded right for you. And then you have the Tuesday bracket with the top 8, and everything is professionally run. Production is great. You guys on commentary are amazing. And
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just a good experience all around.
How would you describe your overall experience with the actual top 8s, right? Some of the more specific sets, and as you went from, not doing badly at the start, but not quite winning the way you have quite recently. How has that journey been for you in these top 8s?
Right. I would say that going into this, I think I've done like 3 weeklies, and I've been in the 1 monthly last month. I got second. The competition was relatively easy aside from Mighty Unjust, but leading up to these past few weeks, I think it's just continued to grow. We've seen King Gambler. I know Sooneo's been doing it for a while now, and Saucy Fingers has come in. So there's definitely some strong competition joining the Open Series, and it's nice to see a lot of people trying to get that first place spot, and there's a lot of people vying for that spot now. It's not just Mighty Unjust.
Oh, he found it! He found it, the delay. Biohazard. Sorry, mate. Managing to double eliminate the Mighty Unjust in today's tournament. No doubt, you are quite the fan favorite, not just because of just how you play and all this other stuff.
I've definitely seen the polls.
I mean, look, the thing is, it's your character choices. It's one of the big things that really makes you stand out. You almost completely ignore the tier list. You go with characters that work for you. Kano is your most devastating character. It's where you're getting the results and the success. And I really want to pick your brain about your kind of philosophy on characters and why you play who you play and the kind of mindset you take going into competitive tournaments. What would you say about your character team and why?
I need a team because I know that like my character struggles against certain things in the game, and so I need other characters to help and back up Kano, for example. So that's why I've been playing Baraka. That's why I've been playing Collector, Kodal, and so on. But even then, it's kind of weird. It's like I try to main Baraka, and then I try to drop Kano, and then that wasn't working out. And I was like, it kind of took a while before it finally came together, and I felt very confident with my roster of characters and who I wanted to pick against certain players and certain characters that they were using. It's been a long time coming, I feel like, and that's where I am now.
From the outside, it looks like you are a Kano main with other characters when necessary. What goes through your head when you're really looking to sell? Like, does that kind of pressure change at all, or is it just another thing you have to consider?
I think for me, when it comes to like what character I want to use and what character I'm going to decide to like really focus on, it has to be there has to be something that really clicks with me with that character. And, sometimes I don't feel that with like the general top tiers. I just don't feel that thing that just clicks with them. And so with Kano, I understood like what he was good in. I understood what he was bad in. I feel like I've fleshed out the character. And when I'm looking for other things that work, I rewatch my matches. A lot of times when I lost, I felt like it wasn't the character. It was more so me that was the issue. Even though I've made Kano as optimal as he is right now, there's still some work to be done.
Oh, Instant air ball.
It took like a lot of hard work and dedication to not only Kano, but also learning the other characters. I like to play characters that are not largely represented, because if you want to get the best experience, you're going to have to play me to get that experience. And
absolutely.
And so I think that helps me a lot, definitely in tournaments.
And we see that time and time again, even in the open series, that Ripper Kano that feels almost impossible to guess right on. The Bone Picker, which you're doing combos and conversions with Bone Picker that we didn't even think were possible. So that's always a nice little element.
The thing is also with Bone Picker, it's like when I picked up the character and I tried to main it for 2 months, I was doing like unoptimal stuff. And then it was maybe like a month or two ago that I started doing a lot of the spine burst combos in the corner. I was like, wow, he actually gets like a lot of damage. And it's really good.
I really want to touch on your experience playing against Sooneo. We saw a recent Open Series top 8 where you had a game 5 in winner's side that was super down to the wire, and then in losers he picked Robocop and got a 3-0. And then the following week you brought out Shiva out of nowhere and were able to quite dominantly beat him in return.
Which I love, by the way. I'm always happy to do those aftermath picks.
Thank you.
So what would you say your experience fighting Sooneo has been? You know, what kind of preparation do you need when fighting a player like that you know is constantly changing, and you yourself are doing the same thing in response? Like, how do you prepare for a player like Sooneo?
It's interesting because in other games I have played Sooneo a lot. Even in this game, I've played him a good amount. I've run into him in other tournaments as well. You know, he's beaten me, I've beaten him. I understand like his roster is very zone heavy. For my characters, it doesn't really help for the most part. Baraka, he kind of struggles getting in. Kano as well can be kind of challenging sometimes. So yeah, when I got bodied by his Robocop last week, I was like, I need some experience. And then he pointed out that like Izzy was also another Robocop from Canada that could give me some experience, which probably wasn't the best decision for him, but you know,
I respect it. I respect the honorable.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's gonna help me out, even if it's the detriment of himself. But I was just practicing a bunch of characters against Izzy, and then I was like, Shiva has a teleport, and Smash and Grab has all the mind games with that teleport, being able to drop it on top of them or in front or behind, all that kind of stuff. I just knew that it was going to be a good option against Robocop. I didn't know he was going to go a Fearless Katana against me, but it was actually a good option against her as well, since she is zoning all the time. So it just kind of worked out.
The mighty Unjust, who has been someone that has been dominating Open Series, winning 9 consecutive tournaments. He's won more than that since, being the complete undisputed god of North America for the Open Series. And very recently, you had a phenomenal showing against him, able to take a tournament yourself. So what has your journey against the mighty Unjust been like for Open Series 2?
Right. Well, actually, I think the first time I had to fight him was in a qualifier, and I lost to him, and so I couldn't qualify for top 4 that way. But when I did make it in, I tried Ripper Kano, and the Avalanche pick was definitely a struggle for me. I couldn't really find a good way around it. So I really needed an option for Avalanche. And so I used Dirtbag, and then it was just going so much better for me. So I got experience with him, and yeah, he'll probably say probably shouldn't have given him that experience, but that's what happened.
Good guy Unjust. Good guy
Unjust. These guys are good. They're good guys. But yeah, I definitely thought that with Ripper, the only option is to throw the knives, and then Sub-Zero has that low slide. So it's not easy playing neutral with him. Whereas Dirtbag, with the option of Armored Kano Ball, you can just react to a lot of the ice balls, and you can get in that way. And once you get them in the corner, Dirtbag does his thing.
Being an offline competitor that has the crowd always loving the energy that you bring to the game, and now you're online where, you're in your comfort zone at home, but it's a different realm. How does it feel to not have the crowd energy and the moving parts that makes an offline tournament such an adrenaline rush at times?
Well, like you said, the crowd loves me and I love the crowd. And it's kind of unfortunate not to be able to hear the cheering and all the people getting hype and stuff. You don't experience that when you're online. For me, I just tried to make my gameplay as hype as possible. The most important thing is just maintaining the focus and keeping that focus throughout the tournament as it goes on, so that you can play at your best.
thank you very much for your time, actually, Bio. These have been some incredibly insightful answers, as we always knew we would get with a player like you. And no doubt we'll be seeing you in future tournaments. Best of luck in all of those. But I always want to give a player an opportunity to have their moment before the end of this. And I'd like to ask you if you have any shout outs that you'd like to give.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Beast Coast, who is my sponsor. Big shout out to everybody else that is in the streams, always rooting for me, cheering for me. I do always check the comments and all that stuff, so I do appreciate all the kind words. And of course, big shout outs to my bro who also got me into fighting games. We got each other into fighting games. It wouldn't be possible without him. And my girlfriend, for sure, that is always supporting me. She's always like watching the tournament matches and stuff. And I love her so much. So thank you.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And that is unfortunately all we have time for on today's episode of Final Round. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank again Biohazard for lending us his time earlier, and one of my personal favorite interviews I've seen so far. It was great to kind of pick his brain and see what he thinks about the Open Series so far. And hopefully we'll see you on the next show every Tuesday, where we do these invitationals and have a great time with some competitive Mortal Kombat 11. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Final Round.